It is Tuesday, October 4th, 8:09 p.m. We are missing a usual host, but we have two unusual guests. We're going to learn all about them later on. What a week 4 we had. What a week 4. We're going to break all of it down for all of our listeners, so everyone just tune in, chill out, and let the good times roll.
Welcome back to the DNZ Fantasy Football Podcast. Like Nick said, we are without the Z today, but we do have some guests here with us.
We have an A and a B.
We do. We've got Brooks, fellow LOC member, a.k.a. the Sunshine Squad, in the building, sitting in here for the pod. We do have a first-time guest, Adam, here as well, sitting in on the pod today.
Welcome,
Brooks, Adam.
How we doing?
What's going on, boys?
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, we'll have a little bit of a Q&A with Brooks and Adam here towards the end, but let's try and jump right into this, go through the injury report and recent news before we get to Nick's famous fastest 2 minutes.
Infamous.
That was the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Infamous.
So, injury report, devastating news out of Denver. Javonte Williams placed on IR with a torn ACL, done for the season. Broncos have already signed Latavius Murray, so not sure they're going to be able to rely too much on Melvin Gordon, so maybe Latavius Murray gets a lot of run, and they still have that Boone running back there, but not good for Denver, not good for fantasy owners of Javonte. I've got Javonte in one dynasty league. It sucks. Hopefully he bounces back and is ready to go for next season. Cordero Patterson also placed on IR today due to a knee injury. Doesn't seem like it's a season-ending injury, and I haven't heard any details on what it is exactly, but expect him to miss up to 4 games. Traylon Burks,
Poor guy,
rookie wide receiver for the Tennessee Titans, left Sunday's game with a foot injury. It's been diagnosed as turf toe. He will miss some times, and it looks like his breakout performance, which we've been hoping for, is on pause. Jahan Dotson, another rookie wide receiver for the Washington Commanders, injured his hamstring on Sunday.
Yikes.
He's expected to miss 1 to 2 weeks, so nothing serious, maybe similar to what Keenan Allen has been dealing with this season. And then we've got Jamison Crowder, a couple of Buffalo Bills here, actually. Jamison Crowder out for the season, left high ankle sprain and a fibula fracture, which just sounds painful.
Yeah, no, that's bad.
And Isaiah McKenzie,
I can hear that.
right there with him in the wide receiver room. Isaiah McKenzie suffered a concussion. He's week to week, questionable for week 5. So maybe possible he goes through protocol and is able to play in week 5. But surely, hopefully, this will get more targets for Gabe Davis this coming week, who's been just atrocious so far this season. We'll probably mention him once or twice. And really the biggest story, injury-wise, over the weekend, outside of Javonte Williams, would be Tua. Whoa. Suffered a concussion Thursday night. He's going to be out for week 5.
He suffered demon possession.
It was super scary.
You all saw the video.
The doctor who cleared him to play the week before has been fired. And it's just the whole concussion protocol is being rewritten, essentially. And it's going to be interesting to see how the whole league is different from that. He's possibly going to be out for week 6 as well, which I think would be smart. Don't need to rush him back like they already did once, especially how scary that was on primetime television on Thursday night.
Everyone saw it.
But they'll be rocking with Teddy Two Gloves. And maybe Skylar Thompson gets a shot. We'll see.
Skylar Thompson.
We'll see.
Come on, give him a shot already.
Brooks, you like Skylar?
Yeah, that dude's a baller. He was the best preseason quarterback by far.
Better than Teddy.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You heard this here first. When Skylar Thompson goes off, I want all the cred back to this pod.
Yeah, well, just a few more here on the injury report. Jonathan Taylor, he actually injured his ankle. Test came back negative. He has a chance to play on Thursday, which is going to be a short week for him. It seems like it's still unclear if he's going to play, but it seems like it is possible, so something to monitor. Daniel Jones is day-to-day with an ankle injury as well. There's optimism that he will be able to play in week 5. If not, Tyrod Taylor will probably be starting this week. I saw they were bringing in a bunch of quarterbacks. Jake Fromm. I even think I saw A.J. McCarron on there. Maybe they're bringing in some guys to work out, so they're trying to fill that quarterback room. So doesn't
AJ's
seem like
been
they're
on TV lately.
Yeah.
He's going to shake off the rust. I didn't see that.
I thought that's who it was. I could be wrong, but Jake Fromm was on that list, so they're not too confident in seeing Daniel Jones this week. It's not like a ton of people rely on him, but we are super flex here in LOC, so somebody maybe
QBs
needed to start him. Rashad Bateman also is day-to-day with a foot injury. John Harbaugh doesn't believe it to be too serious. And then for recent news, it is Kenny Pickett season. He has been named the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers for the foreseeable future, and going to be really excited to see. He was the 20th overall pick in the NFL draft this offseason, and it'll be really interesting to see how he develops throughout the season. And I know we'll probably have some more thoughts on him and his performance in the second half.
You have some thoughts. We'll thought on those thoughts.
Yep, we'll go through that. And Brian Robinson has actually been cleared by doctors and is being activated off the NFI list and could be back in action sooner than later. So if you had any hope of Antonio Gibson being something that he was week 1, that's probably all been flushed down the drain at this point. Fortunately, he's on my roster.
This man got riddled with bullets.
Yeah, and he's
Is he going to walk in and take a big carry share out of that?
I think a reporter asked Ron Rivera about his status for this coming week. And I think the quote was he's got no shot to play or something along those lines. He used the word shot. It didn't really come off the right way, but I don't think he meant to say that. But
did he say pun intended?
No.
Then it doesn't count.
Exactly. So that's it for the injury report and the news. There's obviously a ton of other lingering injuries from the past few weeks that we didn't mention. But this is the injury report from week 4. Nick, we are ready for the fastest 2 minutes.
Oh, shit.
When you're ready.
Well, fucking A. In our first matchup, we had the winless War Boys attempting a failed coup against the Galactic Empire. The War Boys have fallen on hard times, failing to secure victory yet again as the Empire withheld none of its firepower. Dictators everywhere admired the sheer brutality on display as the Empire was firing on all cylinders. CMC was sent to the bench to discover his privilege, and the Empire still led the league in scoring. Galactic Empire 205, winless War Boys 148. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Moving on to the next showdown, it was JT and all his company getting chilled out by Lance Refrigeration in a team-wide effort that saw G No Smith become G Yes I did just score 31 points Smith. It was hard to find flaws as the small man porn category continued to flourish. East Coast Cup and West Coast Cheetah came to terms that Jared probably killed Tupac, but it was all freezy in this fridge. Lance Refrigeration 184, JT and Company 128. Only undefeated team? Our next contest was a snooze fest with RDC 22 falling to the Sunshine Squad in an embarrassingly low-scoring affair. By a 2-point margin, the Sunshine Squad Nick chubbed out the victory behind 27 from Ice-T Higgins. Kendrick Lamar Jackson takes his squad back to the drawing boards to figure out what went wrong. Sunshine Squad 114, Team RDC 22 112. The next encounter was everything fantasy lovers could wish for and the damn reason I wake up and grind for this podcast every day. It was the London Bridge rebuilding over projected champ Jamario Bros by a razor-thin margin of 0.46 points. 0.46 points. It's the thrill of victory and agony of defeat as the Jamario Bros could only watch as Big Dick Nick Ass Kicker drills one more extra point to seal his fate. London Bridge 161.34. Jamario Bros 160.88. Get out your calculators. Rounding it all off, Ramondre Raptors topping off this beautiful week 4 that we had. I can't be reading this right. Honestly, I don't think I'm reading this right. I think I fucked up. Oh, I didn't. The Arrowhead Choppas allegedly picked up their first dub, taking down the Ramondre Raptors. Justin Jefferson activated his dreadlock powers, but the Choppas Damian pierced the Raptors' armor. Everyone chipped in for the Choppas, and they're probably expecting an apology from me, but they're not gonna get one. Fight me, Choppas. You know where I live. Arrowhead Choppas 155, Ramondre Raptors 111. And that's it yet again. I'm winless. I haven't won.
Yeah, you are the last undefeated team.
Fuck.
the pod host of a fantasy football league.
And I'm not doing
The
good
last
anywhere.
undefeated team.
I'm not
Choppa's got to win before you, bro.
I know.
Choppa.
I know, but I don't think I do. I don't think I do, though, because I'm a big believer in points scored and points against. It's categories everyone can look up on their apps. Pull out your phones right now. Points scored, points against. That's the true rankings, in my opinion. Arrowhead Chop is garbage. Garbage.
Well, I do have a couple honorable mentions of Rookie of the Week that I believe are on your roster, but the main Rookie of the Week, who was essentially led Arrowhead Choppas along with others to victory this week, Dameon Pierce, the running back from Houston. He had 14 carries, 131 yards, 1 touchdown. He did have a big 75-yard touchdown run, which kind of inflated his yards, his average run per carry. He had 9.4 yards average rushing, which is insane, but he did have that 75-yard touchdown. But he also had 6 receptions out of the backfield. It was for only 8 yards, but he caught 6 of his 6 targets for 27.9 fantasy points. That's good for RB15 on the season at this point, but my God, Dameon Pierce looks like the real deal. And I'm maybe close to putting to bed the idea of them replacing him next year if he really shows out, because I always like to maybe compare it to how Michael Carter was last year, but Michael Carter's not out here putting up these kind of games.
No.
So,
do you think there's any yak potential there? He only had 8 yards.
I mean,
I looked at my fucking shit correctly.
Correct. He had 6 receptions for 8
but
yards.
Six receppies,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Is there any yak there? Is there yak to be had?
I would think so at some point. I don't think he's really going to be known for it, but it's something that he can do and will be involved in, especially on a team that's not very good and is always going to need to be scoring points. And if he can be good in the receiving game and just be productive at all, I mean, that's just having that part of his game is only helpful for his fantasy value. But I do have a couple honorable mentions outside of the main Rookie of the Week and Dameon Pierce. But Breece Hall and Chris Olave had really good weeks this week. Guys that might be in a lot of people's starting lineups, no matter if it's redraft or dynasty, for the next few weeks, if not the rest of the season. And let's just get right into the LOC matchups. I can go over the first matchup. Nick, you can get the one after this. But I've got my own matchup here first. Let's just talk about it, get it out of the way. But Lance Refrigeration, that's me. I took on JT and Company this week, Jacob. The final score was 184 to 127. And I remain as the only undefeated team in LOC. It was the biggest blowout, the biggest blowout of the week. I won by 56.6 points.
Are you trying to be new projected champ?
You know, I don't know if I want that evil on me, but I can't control your picks. Nobody can.
I haven't even decided yet.
I'm not even putting any input into your head about that. You do whatever you'd like, but it was really, and it's funny at this point, it's been 2 weeks in a row. I've got Geno Smith out here just carrying my team almost.
G.S. Smith.
Geno Smith, he had 300-plus yards passing, 2 touchdowns. He rushed for a touchdown, had almost 50 yards rushing, put up 31.7 points. He's the QB9 on the season, and he's been an absolute stud for me. Kyler Murray, he's that guy to have on your fantasy roster that you just don't want to watch. Don't watch him play. Because it's terrible. It's terrible to watch. It's super ugly. He does nothing in the first half.
Batted down.
I don't think the Cardinals have scored a touchdown in the first quarter all season long. But he always somehow figures it out and ends up putting a decent game of 22.88 fantasy points. And then that stack that I've got with Hollywood Brown.
I was going to say, that is proving to be lethal. Have they connected for a touchdown every week so far?
Not quite every week, but the past 2 weeks, that connection's been really good. Hollywood Brown had 6 receptions on 11 targets for 88 yards and a touchdown, 20.8 fantasy points. He's wide receiver 6 on the season. So that stack's been really good for me. That's kind of what helped me lead to victory. I had Brandon Cooks put up 18 points. Saquon put up 18 points. So that's really what helped me win this week and really put me over the edge.
I think you were the second highest scoring team. The Empire really took it to me, unfortunately.
Yes. No, the Empire was fantastic.
I'm going to deal with that.
We'll save that convo for later, but we talked about what maybe happened on JT and company's side. He's got a good team. We've talked about it. He was a projected favorite at one point. But fantasy football is brutal, and it doesn't save anybody. Like it can come for any one of us. And I'm just going to read off 4 names here and give you his total points between 4 players. And that was kind of a running theme this week. Guys that you depend on, like Matthew Stafford, Jonathan Taylor, and a couple guys maybe you don't expect to have big weeks, but at least put up something. Gabe Davis and Greg Dortch. Like, between those 4 players, that was a total of 12.96 points between those 4 guys. And that's just not going to get it done, even if you do have Cooper Kupp. Even if you do have Tyreek Hill and Leonard Fournette and Zach Ertz, who all put up 16-plus points this week. Like, half his team did great, and the other half of his team put up less than 7 points.
His team really kind of did exemplify how you need more of a complete effort to actually win in fantasy, because his stars, outside of you want a QB to do more like Matt Stafford, but your stars actually put out for you, and you still had a very low-scoring overall affair with all your stars doing what you want them to.
I can't believe Jonathan Taylor's been this bad. Surely that won't last. But what's shocking to me...
Will it? It's been a month.
And
I'm scared.
What sucks for JT and company is he's got Cam Akers and he's got DJ Moore, which were on his bench this week, which I do not fault him for. And nothing would have changed if they were in the starting lineup because they barely had any impact fantasy-wise this week. But, I mean, DJ Moore and Cam Akers, you're looking at those guys to be top 15 assets like they were close to it last year. And they've just been brutal. And it's just amazing how fantasy football, nothing ever stays the same. It's constantly changing. It's a rough game we play. But I think JT and company will bounce back from this. But
they're the most bipolar team we have.
I do have a
stat. This team's gone off and done not shit. Like a heartbeat.
I would be worried about his quarterback situation. Derek Carr, really. I mean, he's going to put up decent numbers, but he's never going to win you a week, it seems. I mean, maybe once or twice, but Matthew Stafford is probably my biggest concern because, I mean, based on what he did last year, you want to see Matthew Stafford be a top 10 quarterback. And he finished week 1 as the quarterback 30. Week 2, he was the quarterback 10. Week 3, he was the quarterback 29. And then week 4, he was also the quarterback 29. That's good for quarterback 22 on the season. Like, I cannot believe with having Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson, like the 2 solid running backs, Sean McVay. Like, I know this is fantasy football and not real life football, but you would think Matthew Stafford could be better than he has been. So maybe that changes down the road. But Lance Refrigeration stays undefeated, the last remaining undefeated team. And I think this trend will continue for a little bit, boys. I think y'all in trouble.
What if I make you my projected champ? Because I have not yet decided.
Well, then I'm confident that I'm fucked in that deal.
You don't think you can overcome my projection?
I'm going to have Kyler Murray and Saquon Barkley get injured this weekend if you bring that evil on me.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't decided. Our current projected champ, I'm still keeping him in the mix. So when we get to that part of the pod, I'll make a decision.
Wow, finally staying true to a prediction. That is very unvenna of you.
I know. We'll see. After an L, sometimes you got to pick some people up. I really have to cover this game. Thank God I have one of our participants sitting at the table. Sunshine Squad, Team RDC 22. What an ugly game. I mean, it was a fun game if you want to look at the narrow margin of victory. What, about one something points there?
1.84
So,
points.
I mean, I was just scrolling back through the game. There just wasn't a lot going on anywhere for either of you. You had Ice-T Higgins. He went off, and that's the first time he's gone off this year. So
T. Higgins better than Jamar Chase. You heard it.
Nick Chubb is pretty damn solid. Yeah, what happened there?
I don't know. I knew it was raining, but how can you fumble the ball 4 times?
So Trevor Lawrence, not a rain guy? Not a rain guy?
Trevor Lawrence will bounce back. That's just a bad week.
Do you think that has something to do with his hair? When it's raining, his hair gets all messed up.
Mm-hmm.
I love how you're Brooks. I love how you're rocking with Gerald Everett. I don't know who your other tight end is off the top of my head, but I'm a big fan of Gerald Everett.
Oh, and I mean George Kittle. Yeah.
Oh,
he only got 4 points yesterday.
He had a touchdown, but his foot barely was out on Sunday night. But yeah, I mean, Gerald Everett's a really good wide receiver. He's in a high-powered offense, and with no Keenan Allen, he's really been benefiting. He put up 17 points for you this week, and I mean, it's the tight end position. We know how volatile it is, so to have some type of backup like that, now starter even, with how bad George Kittle is at the moment, Gerald Everett's a good guy to have. A high-powered offense, that's the type of shit you want. He's a tight end 6 currently. So you got Nick Chubb, T. Higgins, like Nick said, really kind of push you over the edge. And
you can't apologize for 3-1. You say I score 114 points, would have lost to most people this week. Fuck you.
You'll take that all day long.
You don't apologize
a win's a win.
for a win.
Yeah. You actually had the lowest points in a win this week in LOC
of all time.
And it's crazy because, like Nick said, you lost by 8, or you won by 1.84 points.
And with Kamara, and all that going on,
you had Kamara, who was questionable, and then obviously was playing in London early in the morning on Sunday. And maybe did you just not wake up in time and notice that he was out and it was too late? Is that what happened?
Yeah, me and Nick were out wandering around the forest,
and he just missed it,
kind of getting lost too.
Yeah, so you had Kamara, who didn't play, put up 0 points in your starting lineup. And you also had Tua go down, and you still won by 1.84. The fantasy gods were on the Sunshine Squad this week.
I might make Sunshine Squad projected champ. Now I got 3 people in mind.
It is pretty sneaky.
Are there 3-sided coins?
I would like a sneaky pick from you. I feel like you're just kind of going with the waves, picking the top guy each week.
I don't know. I'm feeling pretty rebellious.
But Sunshine Squad, you played against RDC 22. Ryan, we need you to come up with a team name.
The craziest
or something like that
out of this game was that he had no player go over 16 points.
That's correct.
That's
Ryan had no player over 16 fantasy points this week. So in any situation like that, it's pretty brutal. But his problem is, and he's been dealing with it fairly well, but he's going to have weeks like this when he has no Keenan Allen, no Michael Thomas, no Dak Prescott, no Elijah Mitchell, still no DeAndre Hopkins. Like those are a lot of guys who would be starters if they were playing and healthy. So Ryan's just really going through the ringer right now, and I think once he gets those guys healthy, he's 2-2 currently, so it's not like he's totally out of it at all at this point. Gets those guys back, maybe he can go on a bit of a run here towards the end of the season.
You think he's the Mike Tomlin of owners in the league right now, where he's just maximizing what he's got with all the shit that he's dealing with?
Absolutely.
I
wasn't quite able to do it this week, but for those first 2 weeks, or those first 2 wins he had, absolutely.
Fucking Christ, dude! Looking at this next game though, I think I have a fourth contender for projected champion, even though he's just 2-2 right now.
Yeah, the War Boys, we mentioned it, Nick. You are 0-4, but anybody would have lost this week to the Galactic Empire, putting up 204 points. He was the top scoring team on the week. Empire was also the overachiever of the week. He was projected 161 points, so that's why they gave him
on the bench,
overachiever. Bro. Yes, he had CMC on the bench who scored 25 points. He also had DK Metcalf on the bench who scored 21 points. And it was still the highest scoring team.
Dude, DK had the most DK Metcalf stat line there is. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but he is the fucking king of getting just minimal receptions, but going for 20 plus. I've been a long time DK owner since as long as he's been in the league through various leagues. I'm not a DK owner this year anywhere, but I wasn't surprised. It was kind of just nice to see DK putting up a stat line like that. That's the most DK stat line there is.
Yeah, what you're surprised about is how Geno Smith is playing.
Yes.
And with that finally legit having confidence in him now, I think who do they have this coming week? They've got New Orleans, who has a pretty solid defense. Maybe the Geno hype won't quite be here in week 5. But DK Metcalf had 7 receptions on 10 targets for 149 yards. Didn't even get in the end zone, which is what he's really talented at.
Exactly.
And Galactic Empire has a good problem going on here, because he also had Jared Goff play this week. I think that was... Who's his other quarterback? He's got...
All of them. He has every quarterback in the damn fucking league, bro.
Matt Ryan, Tannehill.
So, yeah, he had Aaron Rodgers put up
Darth
mediocre
Sidious
17 points.
5
which
Padawans.
You can work with that, but it was Jared Goff's show, and he's the quarterback 5 on the season. Put up 34 points this week. Really helped Jared out.
Without Amon-Ra.
Exactly. Or DeAndre Swift, which is just shocking. Mike Evans was a big contributor to the Galactic Empire's win this week as well, getting into the end zone 2 times Sunday night against the Chiefs, going for 30 points. He's wide receiver 18 on the season. And Galactic Empire benefited from the DeAndre Swift injury, having Jamal Williams in his starting roster, who had over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, had a 40-plus touchdown bonus.
He was the red zone player of the week, if you ask me, where red zone cut to Jamal Williams' touchdown multiple times.
He's has
Big
2
run, touchdown.
He's got 2 touchdowns this season for the 3rd time in 4 games. He scored 25.9 fantasy points. He's the RB6.
That's wild.
Travis Kelce, always good. Joe Mixon finally got in the end zone. Cortland Sutton finally got in the end zone. So Galactic Empire had a ton of things going right. Even his defense put up 18 points. Would have beat everybody in the league this week. Galactic Empire, scary moving forward.
Maybe. I mean, have you ever encountered a Sith Lord in person?
Sig Heil.
Not yet. I'll update you if I do.
Fuck. I mean,
I'm trying to figure out if I've played Galactic Empire this year or not.
Well, if you ever run into a Sith Lord in person, run in zigzags. They can't see that way.
I have not played Galactic Empire, so maybe I'll see him in a week or so.
Dude, can we just skip
Yep,
the
week
Arrowhead
6.
Shoppers? Can we just skip the Arrowhead Shoppers win?
No, I want to talk about your team. Hold on.
No.
I've got Galactic Empire in week 6. I'm going to be without Amon-Ra that week with the Lions on bye, but
we can
that means he'll be without
Boys.
Jamal Williams as well. No, let's talk about War Boys here real quick.
Skip the War Boys.
We talk about everybody else on this podcast, Nick. We can't just skip you because you're terrible.
No one wants to hear about the War Boys.
The War Boys stood little chance this week.
Fuck.
I've got he had 21.2 points from 4 players. That's Kareem Hunt, Curtis Samuel, Allen Robinson, and Amari Cooper.
Let me
21.2 points from those 4 players.
Let me just say that London games should be banned. It is bullshit. I had Olave on my bench in like 3 leagues because they play so damn early. We won a war.
You knew that going into the week. It's not like it just popped up out of nowhere.
We won a war so we could establish correct time zones. How dare they?
They're across the pond, mate.
Bullshit. Fucking bullshit. Those 16 points would have made me look a little bit better in defeat.
I've got good things to pull from your game. Russell Wilson finally does something.
Yeah, finally.
27.48 fantasy points. And in the stat sheet, he had a reception. Do you guys remember seeing him get a reception? Is that a thing you guys saw? I didn't see it.
I didn't.
It was in the stat sheet. Maybe that was an error. Maybe we just all totally missed it.
Zach Wilson got a touchdown. Yeah. I definitely saw that one.
Right. Who saw that coming? Josh Allen did good. He's always good. Deebo Samuel had a breakout game this week, 25.7 points.
We can't call
40-yard touchdown
when
bonus.
He's been here. Deebo is that guy.
And then you've got Tyler Higbee. Is he the clear-cut number 2 receiving option in LA?
He was getting reception after reception last night.
Tight end 5.
That was fun to see. I never stood a chance, but I felt good about that, at least. I mean, he was just getting hammered. And I think it's because Matt Stafford is probably physically incapable of playing the quarterback position now. So he's got a dude like Kupp where he can be like, fuck it, throw it down there. And everything else is checked down. And who do you check down to? The tight end that no one is worried about. Tyler Higbee, baby. He was eaten last night.
Yep, 17.3 points from him. 10 receptions on 14 targets. If Matthew Stafford isn't throwing to Cooper Kupp, he's throwing it to Tyler Higbee. And we'll probably see that trend continue. And you had Breece Hall, who had a good day. Nothing special, but he's traded upwards. Him and Olave need to be seen in your starting lineup soon.
What Breece did was show that I am here, I am now, I am consistent. This dude, week 1, I don't think he did really much, but every week since then, he's been like, here I am, I'm here, I'm ready to pop.
I don't hate that logic and thought process, but if you're late to the party, you miss the party. Sometimes you got to throw them in there before they break out, because I did it earlier this season with Devonta Smith. And throw them in
before they play in London.
I was worried because Devonta Smith in my other Dynasty League, he put up 0 week 1. He put up 15 week 2. I'm like, okay, I still don't fully trust him. And then he goes and scores 30 fucking points.
Right.
Like sometimes it's hard.
Here I am.
It's tough, especially when we have such deep rosters and there's a lot of other guys you can consider for your starting roster. But fire up Breece Hall and Olave if the matchup is right. Absolutely.
And Olave will never have to play in London again, so the War Boys are trending up.
Next matchup between the Arrowhead Choppas and the Ramondrosaurus Rex.
Skip the Choppas.
Choppas in the win column.
Trash.
Finally.
You got some claps from Drake and Brooks. Hope you're happy.
Finally. It was a
Tell
pretty
your mom about it.
convincing win, 154 to 110. Damian Pierce led the way there for Arrowhead Choppas. Tom Brady finally had a good week this week, 24 points. I mean, he threw for almost 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. He had to. A lot of garbage time points there at the end. Devontae Adams had a Devontae Adams-type performance with 9 receptions, over 100 yards. No touchdown, but still put up 19 points. Mike Williams had a really good game with 19 points as well. Choppas, they had Cordero Patterson go down in this matchup and still was able to pull out the win.
Yeah, like I said, if you're expecting an apology from me, just stop. Just stop. You know where I live. Come fight me.
What's crazy, though, is he had Josh Jacobs, who put up 34 points, and J.K. Dobbins, who put up 22 points, sitting on his bench. Didn't much matter. Arrowhead Choppas taking down the Ramondrosaurus Rex.
Ramondra Raptors.
They're both 1-3 here, and I think we'll talk about the Ramondrosaurus Rex here, our fellow pod host.
Our missing Z.
Zach, our missing Z. On rough week for Z. He was declared by the weekly report from Sleeper as the worst team of the week, the underachiever and least efficient manager of the week. That's like the worst 3 things that the weekly report gives you.
Wait, he got all 3 of them?
Yes.
Yikes. He's not even here to defend himself.
He is a Javonte Williams owner who got injured on the first play of the second half. His season's over. Brutality. Kyle Pitts. We thought maybe he was back after last week's performance, but they just don't throw the ball to Kyle Pitts.
I can't tell if Kyle Pitts is bad or if it's underutilization, because the longer this deal goes on, the question becomes more and more pressing.
And it's like, what do you do? Like, I don't know who his backup tight end is, but it's like you're probably not going to start him over Kyle Pitts.
Who's calling their plays? It seems to be tight ends.
I think it's a coaching. I think it's a
nowadays.
Coaching and a Mariota problem. A little bit of both, because we know how talented he is. He's the tight end 18 on the season. It's crazy that Tyler Higbee is a better fantasy option this year than
not too crazy to me
than Kyle Pitts. Devonta Smith kind of had a back to earth performance this week. Jalen Waddle had a back to earth performance this week as well. Garrett Wilson didn't do a whole lot, and Zach Wilson's return to New York. And Marcus Mariota had a terrible game. And unfortunately, I don't know what Zach was doing with his kicker, but his kicker was injured due to a groin injury, is the Detroit kicker, and put up 0 points. So from 7 different starters, Ramondrosaurus Rex was able to get 27.76 points out of 7 starters. That's not going to ever win you a week. It doesn't even matter if Justin Jefferson puts up 31 points for you and your Eagles defense puts up 18 points.
I can't even
believe 7 different players, you couldn't even get 30 points. That's just so unlucky. Like that's fantasy football sometimes.
That sounds like something the Arrowhead Choppas.
Like usually you hope not everybody on your starting rosters has that same week at the same time, but sometimes it happens. And unfortunately, he did have some bench warmers of the week. Rashad Penny.
Rashad worth a penny. Penny's 30 worth of points.
Yeah, 30.7 points.
Out.
He also had Clyde on his bench, which was maybe a little surprising. Penny, I don't fault him for not starting Penny, but we know how bad the Detroit Lions defense is and their rushing defense. I didn't start Rashad Penny in this league where we have like 20 fucking starting roster spots.
No, he was on my bench elsewhere as well.
Yeah, so I don't fault him quite for that. But it sucks to lose a game like that when you had 2 players on your bench put up almost, if not more points than 7 of your players combined. Rough week for Zach. Also, that's 3 straight losses in LOC.
Who would do
Zach,
such a thing?
we're praying for you. We're hoping for a little bit of a comeback. Pull some stuff back together. And we've got one more matchup to go through here. We thought that the Sunshine Squad was the most narrow victory, but it wasn't quite the most narrow victory.
Can you believe it? This kept me up at night.
That's a curse.
This is the kind of matchup that makes you hate fantasy football.
Or love it.
Blair was incredibly lucky this week, and that's all fantasy football is. It was the narrowest victory of the week when Blair, the London Bridge, beat the Jamario Bros by .46. Blair was able to snag the win on the last extra point of the game from Ryan Suckup on Sunday night. Just, it's crazy. And
he was feeling that too. We know he was watching. He was aware.
Oh yeah,
he knew what was happening. He knew what was happening as he trotted out there for that extra point in a blowout. That game was such a blowout, and he had to just watch it happen.
And Graham didn't have a bad week. The problem was he played against T.J. Hawkinson, who put up almost 40 points, and he played Austin Eckler,
and
who
Graham
put up
loves T.J.
almost 34
Hawkinson.
points.
He probably hated that too.
And Patrick Mahomes for London Bridge also had a solid game as well. Graham didn't have a bad week. It's just he got matched up against Hawkinson and Eckler this week. Graham was still the most efficient manager. He also had the highest points in a loss while losing by .46. Just brutality.
I'm here for you, Jamario Bros. You're still in my running.
So Blair, the London Bridge, is now in second place in LOC. He did kind of get a little bit lucky because he did have only 16.72 points from James Robinson, Drake London, Tyler Boyd, and Josh Palmer, and still won. So London Bridge did have some boo-boo out there, but thank God for T.J. Hawkinson and Austin Eckler scoring his first touchdown in bunches this week.
And Nick Butker.
Who the hell is Nick Bucker?
Butt kicker. That is...
You know his first name's Harrison, right?
Holy fuck.
Okay, thank you.
I was
so confused.
You're
just
AJ instead of MJ.
Yeah, the Jamario bro, they were close, man. If Mark Andrews put up a normal Mark Andrews performance, he would have been fine. But Mark Andrews only put up 3.5 fantasy points this week.
Harrison Butker.
He one more reception from Mark Andrews, who's tied in 2 on the season, even after this dud performance. So just super, super frustrating for the Jamario Bros. He had Miles Sanders go up for 30 points almost this week. Derrick Henry, 23 points. Joe Burrow, 22 points. CeeDee Lamb, 21 points. And just couldn't quite get it done. Yeah, it's a backbreaker.
It's a thick squad.
But
it's a thick squad.
Jamario Bros, you got a good team. You got to live through this. You'll be fine. You'll be better on the other side. I mean, half the teams lose every week, just like half the teams win.
He's got the curse.
And just was a bad matchup this week. But that kind of rounds up the rest of the matchups.
Nick Butker. I'm a Chiefs fan. What the fuck?
So as it stands, our standings in LOC, Lance Refrigeration at the top. London Bridge,
we don't have
2
to do
overall.
this.
Sunshine Squad, number 3. Galactic Empire, number 4. The Jamario Bros, number 5. JT and Company, number 6.
We don't have to do this.
Team RDC, number 7. Ramondrosaurus Rex, number 8.
It's really
Arrowhead
fine.
Choppas, number 9. And there's a team below the Arrowhead Choppas.
It's
the
fine.
War Boys. That's you, Nick, huh?
I'm going to edit that out.
Fuck.
Who's
okay.
the War Boys?
Well, that's your quick rundown of the standings for LOC. This league, it's still pretty competitive. I mean, we do have a bottom feeder, and we do have a guy solo up top, undefeated.
Christ.
But
I'm taking
everybody
shots
else
here at the table right now.
Everybody
what am
else
I to do?
in between, like this
Leave it
is-
in the comments. What am I to do?
My favorite part about this league is it's a really competitive league. You really just got to get to the playoffs. Hope your cards fall right during the playoff season. But we still got a long way to go. Nothing is ever set in stone.
Yeah, the Choppas don't fly.
But it was a fun week this week. Few injuries that are brutal. And I actually had a terrible fantasy week. I'm in 6 leagues, and LOC was the only league that I won in this week. So absolutely brutal. Hated it. Hated every second watching Red Zone today. Just nothing was going my way whatsoever. But hey, that's fantasy football sometimes. So we mentioned
count up my record from the weekend. I'm in 5.
Yep. What was your record in week 4?
Well, I lost right there, and then I got to switch to sleeper.
You got to have all your leagues on Sleeper, man. I've got all 6 of my leagues on Sleeper.
I got an ESPN league.
To be able to just see all of them on one screen and see all your projected chances and see 1 and 4.
I went 1 and 4. And I won in the league that I would least expect to win in. And I lost in the league that I haven't lost in.
Yeah, maybe it's a good thing
we're
not
of last year.
Maybe it's a good thing we're not coming out here with a ton of takes telling you who to start and sit every week, because you might end up 0-4 like the War Boys over here.
I am the Oracle. I know all.
But we finally want to get our guests into this podcast a little bit. Kind of just talk fantasy football here. Brooks, Adam, how long have you guys been playing fantasy football?
Let's start with Brooks.
Thinking around 3-4 years now.
That's it?
Yeah.
You've only been
That's
playing fantasy for 3-4 years?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I think I started towards the end of college.
That's about where I'm at. I really didn't dive into the fantasy world until after college.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm right there with you.
Mm-hmm. I was in... Shit, this ain't even about me, but I started playing in 5th grade. I got into my dad's league. I took Peyton Manning first overall in the draft. Everyone was like, what a dumbass. You took a quarterback. Won that league. First year ever. Sorry, that's all.
I was in one league when I was in like middle school or early high school. And I think we only did 1 or 2 years with it, but I stopped playing till like after college. It was just something I was just kind of added into. But I drafted Peyton Manning, the very first league I was ever in. Fucking won that shit.
Let's go!
Fucking Peyton Manning, man. That's all you needed back then.
Let's go.
All you needed was Peyton Manning and you win a ship. But Adam, how long have you been playing fantasy football, man?
It's been 5 years or so.
What?
Nice. So
I'm the fucking vet here.
So you've been playing for 5 years. How many leagues are you in this year?
Good God.
I'm in 3 leagues. I got a dynasty league. I got a couples league with some buddies and significant others. And
nice.
then I've got just a league with the fraternity that I was in college. We still do that.
Which one was that?
Yeah. What frat was that?
Siga.
Yes, sir.
Siga.
We already knew that, but so how's the year treating you, Adam? Are your teams looking okay? Your dynasty team, your couple league,
I'll start with my dynasty team. So I'm 3-1 so far. Got a dub this week, 127-112 against Bill Cosby's Roofies. Shout out Corey Lineweaver. Had 4 players really go off: Justin Herbert, DK Metcalf, and Hollywood Brown for 85 points. They really won the week for me. And he had Trevor Lawrence for his quarterback.
Love to see
really
it.
shit down his leg with only 1 point and 9 points.
Wait, who are you playing in that?
Bill Cosby's Roofies.
Fuck. That sucks for Bill Cosby.
So is the dynasty league you're in, is that maybe your most important league in your eyes, do you think?
Yeah. 3-1 so far. I'm number 2 in the league. Wow, Drake, I think yours.
I know me and Nick are 10? In this league with you as well. We're in this other dynasty league outside of LOC.
Wait, this is the league I won in. I went 1-4.
You did win this week, and Nick is notorious for how bad his team is in this other dynasty league outside of LOC. But my team's really not the best. I'm not really in a win now mode. I sold a bunch of guys last year to get Breece Hall and Drake London at the 101 and the 102. Shit. But I still like my team, especially down the stretch the rest of the season. I think my team will really try and come together, I'm hoping, but not necessarily built to win now. But you're certainly there, I believe. We're starting 3-1, Adam. I mean, you're built to win now. I mean, what do you think your team needs? Like, what are some things your team is lacking to maybe put you over the edge and get a championship this year? Is there any glaring holes in your roster?
Not necessarily. I think if I had a wide receiver of some kind, that would definitely help. I got a lot of people on my bench that really don't put up a lot of points. So Devontae Parker, Gallup, Hardman, even Tyler Conklin with the Jets. I picked him up, and I thought he was going to do really well. He's done okay. He got 10 points last week, but
which isn't
we'll see.
God awful for the tight end
I'm kind of
position.
a Gallup believer. I think Gallup's going to come in a big way here soon.
And I was surprised with how much he was utilized first game back from his knee injury. Was that what it was? Pretty sure it was a knee deal. But down the stretch, even with Cooper Rush currently as their quarterback, I think you might be able to rely on Michael Gallup down the stretch.
Yeah, we'll see. They play. Who do they play this week?
Cowboys
are playing.
They have done so well with Rams. Cooper Rush.
Oh, they do play the Rams, and
Now, the
We're at-
Rams don't
we're
play
at-
defense as
Exactly.
we saw last night.
And I don't
so-
think you should be worried about Jalen Ramsey anymore. Like,
Oh,
dude's been cooking Jalen
Bro
Ramsey
got
all season
clowned.
so far.
Clowned
So don't be scared to
last
start
night.
wide receivers against Jalen Ramsey
Did you
and the
guys
Rams.
see Debo literally came out and was like, I don't know what he was doing. I almost fucking tripped out myself. Like,
Could be a trap game, 4.5-point spread in LA.
to who? The Cowboys?
Yeah.
The Rams 4.5? Wait, who's the,
They're at
who's
home.
The who's the favorite?
They still got
Rams.
Cooper Rush is still the quarterback
Oh,
there.
that's a trap line if I've ever seen one before. Holy fucking shit.
Cooper Rush has been doing really good, better than Dak Prescott, in my opinion. So we'll see.
Yeah, better
been
than
balled
Dak.
out.
I'm
curious, who were your rookie picks this year in your rookie draft, Adam, in your in the SIG App Dynasty League?
So I dropped one, and I can't remember who it was.
Oh no, you dropped a rookie.
I dropped him already, and then I got James Cook on the Bills. He really hasn't done much. Averaging
Was he
4
your first round
points.
pick?
No. Who did I have?
You got Alex Pierce on here. Alec Pierce. It had to have been James Cook for your first pick. That doesn't sound right, though. What was your first pick? Let's figure this out here.
I would have to look. And then Khalil Shakir.
Yeah, who could...
Khalil Shakir.
With Isaiah McKenzie out possibly this week.
The
and
Arab money.
with Jameson Crowder out for the season. Khalil Shakir, he might see some run this for the foreseeable future here.
God
Really have
damn.
high hopes. I'm probably going to win the league this year.
Fucking Christ. That would make me sick. The fact that I've won 2 games in that league, are you still talking about Dynasty League? I just got to be sure, because I'm
Yeah.
talking about fucking Dynasty League. The fact that I won 2 games, I think I won 2 games all last year in this motherfucker. And I'm already at 2. I'm coming. It always sucks when the War Boys go 1-4 on the weekend, and none of those, I mean, there was only one good thing that happened, but none of those went where I wanted them to.
Yep, Adam, you were at the 108 in the rookie draft, and you picked James Cook there at the 108.
Gotcha.
You missed out on a guy like Garrett Wilson.
How does that make you feel?
Not great, but I am number 2 in the league, Nick. Where are you at?
And then you had Alec
I don't
Pierce
know.
at the 205, and then
You
Khalil
guys tell me.
Shakir
You're
there
looking
as
at
well.
it right now. I'm excited about this league now.
Yeah, are you the
Sig
War
Up
Boys?
Dynasty, baby.
Are you the War
Of-
Boys
of-
in that league too?
Of course I'm the War Boys.
Sir, he's stuck at number 8.
Awesome. Well, Adam Brooks, thanks for sitting in here on the pod. It was nice to learn a little bit about your fantasy teams and your fantasy origin to the fantasy football world. All right, and we can end the show with Nick's picks of the week. Nick, are you ready for your picks? You got your week 5 picks for the LSE matchups ready?
Yeah, I have them, and I'm still kind of sad.
And you need to update the people on your current standings.
Yeah, we went 2-3 again. It was the 3rd week in a row that
So
we
2-3 this
that we
week.
have went 2-3. That puts us at 9-11 on
Ooh,
the year. I don't know.
that's bad vibes.
I don't know how,
To say the least.
I don't know how the room
All right,
feels
I know
about
I
that.
delivered
I don't
3 of
know
those
about how the
losses.
league feels about that, but we're all at 9-11.
Well,
right now.
if you would have just not picked yourself one of the 4 weeks,
I know.
all right,
But
give
I'm a
me
winner.
your week 5 picks.
Okay. Well, first game, the War Boys are going to take down my continued projected champ, Jamario Bros. So I'm
God.
still gonna pick Jamario Bros to win the league here, okay? But the War Boys get their first win. But the Jamario Bros, they barely lost 0.46 points in this motherfucker. 0.46, and they got such a solid squad there that Cesar, pause the pod,
Pause it.
pull up Jamario Bros. Look at that roster. War Boys take down Jamario Bros, but Jamario Bros retain league champ. Lance Refrigeration over Team RDC 22. You were in the contention for projected league champ as the only undefeated squad we have left.
Yeah, God bless you for not picking me.
Yeah, we'll see. Might come around. It was tough. But I have you taking down Team RDC 22 here. We'll see if Ryan has anything to say about that.
Love it.
JT and company, I have taking down the Sunshine Squad.
Ooh.
I have the Sunshine Squad
Might as
taking
well
an
mark
L.
it 9-12 right now.
Should be a solid matchup. Both teams pretty solid.
They go. I mean, Sunshine is 3-1. I think JT is 2-2 with that bipolar shit they be doing. That's wild. I'll go JT taking down Sunshine Squad. Next one, London Bridge over the Ramondre Raptors. I think London Bridge comes back in a big way here. He's a former projected champ. He might retain or re-earn that title.
So bounce
here.
back for London Bridge, but no bounce back for our boy Zach.
He doesn't have much to bounce back from.
Especially with
Quite
Javonte
frankly.
going down.
Yeah, that's
Brutal for any roster.
That's cherry on top. Javonte, ACL, ABC, I don't care what you call it.
So London Bridge bouncing back in week 5.
And the Arrowhead Choppers are complete garbage. Their win was trash. Joe Biden rigged is how they won. Galactic Empire takes down Arrowhead Choppers in the final game here. The Choppers are trash. Worst team in the league.
I like it. Well, hopefully you can improve your roster or your record from below
9-11.
500.
You guys improve me.
I'm hoping
improve my record.
you get on a roll here, start showing out, but I don't think that's going to happen if you keep picking yourself week in and week out. But apparently the War Boys will get their first win in week 5. But
That's right.
That'll do it for the DNZ Fantasy Football Podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and give us a like and subscribe on YouTube.
Like, share, subscribe.
And thank you for listening. Hope everybody has a great rest of the week.
Blaze 'em, blaze 'em, blaze 'em. Rock the